Welcome to another edition of Book of Jake. Hi, my name is Jake Abdullah. This is a podcast all about improving ourselves, improving our knowledge, improving, your self-worth, your value, and, we are sharing comments and stuff like that. But before we go anywhere, guys, do me a favor, share, like, subscribe, and if you can, drop a comment and tell me what you'd like to know about more, okay? So our guest today is Aaron Pinto. He's an old friend of mine, and also the Chief Operating Officer of Media Prima Audio. So the reason I picked Aaron is he's got a very unique journey where this boy hardly made it through his SPM, and he actually,
going down this road.
he actually almost flunked his SPM, and his journey took him, a couple of decades. But right now he's in the driver's seat of a very successful media company. So without wasting any time, we'll get straight to Aaron Pinto. Maybe you want to start off with your initial journey and how you got into broadcast. And
I always wanted to be in radio.
Mm-hmm.
For me,
why?
It was.
I mean, nobody gets up and says, you know what, I want to be a radio. People say, I want to be a pilot, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a footballer, I want to be a model, I want to be a DJ.
I just like the idea of putting together things on radio and entertaining people. And I love music. Can't mix to save my life.
Okay.
But I loved putting things together. And I used to, when I was growing up, when I was 12 years old, my mother actually asked me, what do you want to become? I said, I want to do radio. At that time, no such thing as DJ. I didn't know what to call it. So I just wanted to be in radio. And she said, okay. And all I did was do radio at home in my room. I didn't study. I just had
pretended to be
pretended to be a DJ. My room was my studio.
Whoa. So going back to when you were 12, who, I know the answer to this, but who were the, radio icons at that time? Patrick Teo, of course.
Patrick Teo, Alan Zachariah,
Radhakrishnan.
Radhakrishnan.
Icons.
Yeah. Okay. But they were okay. But then my dad used to travel a lot to Singapore, and because he had training sessions there and all. And I used to listen to Singapore radio.
Okay.
And I was like, wow, this is like different from the Alan Zachs and the Patrick Teos.
Why? Because they speak in an accent?
No, because they played more music.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they played music.
Our talk sets here at that time was like 2, 3, 4 minutes.
Okay.
So I heard more music.
But I still prefer Malaysian radio because, Patrick Teo and Patrick especially, he was very opinionated and he had always a good story to tell. Yeah.
At 12 years old, I just wanted music.
Okay, all right.
So anyway, I think I got dreamt about this job. I mean, I realized this job for me. I mean, looking back on my journey, those days there was only one English radio station in the country. Then THR came out. And
which was Radio 4, right? Radio 4. Radio 4
yes.
is a government station.
Station.
Time Highway Radio, and that was, we went all, it was like Fly Guy and Richard Lafeber.
That's right.
And Albert Ng, and
That's correct. And so what happened was, I said, look, I just want to do radio. My grades weren't great. So my report card was always great. Stellar. I remember one time in school, there was this discipline master. His name is Bartholomew Jeremiah. And get everyone to put their report cards up. So for each rate mark, you step outside on the veranda and get 1 stroke.
Days of capital punishment where you could actually hurt the children.
So I got 7 cuts. There was 8 subjects. English saved my...
Tell us about your first job in radio. It was Best FM, right?
Yeah. So I was an insurance salesman. Trying to be one.
Okay. Yeah.
So one day I was coming back after seeing a client in Seremban. And I was listening to Best 104. At that time, you could get it in the Seremban area. So they were looking for engineers. But they gave a phone number.
So
I called.
But you had no inkling what it was.
No inkling. So I called. I said, I'm not an engineer, but I want to be a DJ. You got spots? So they said, come for an interview. I went down, got hired on the spot. 700 ringgit a month.
Ooh, that's a lot of money for those days. No lah.
Not in Johor lah.
Okay.
Room was 200 ringgit a month. Slept on the floor for about like 7 months. At the end of the month, you're literally going to the mama, putting coins on the table and saying, with this amount of money, what can I take off the... I was in Johor for maybe about 7 months. And then Astro called me, or then was MBNS.
It was Miasat lah.
Miasat, yes. They called me up, and that's when really I came to mix. I was the drive announcer and the music director with you at the same time.
So we joined radio about the same time. I joined in April of 1996, and you joined
in June.
June
3rd.
I remember who's this old vlog. I mean, but he's actually much younger than me. So that was the start of, you were a music executive, Mix FM, and a drive announcer. So we were laterally doing the same job and at the same shift, and we were like, always competing. So how did your career escalate to this point?
One thing led to another. So I did Mix FM for maybe about 9 years. And then my first break into leading a new station called X Fresh came about.
I remember you were...
And Keith Fowler gave me that job. And I took it. I was there for about 3 years. And then there was some changes. I said, okay, because at that time we had moved to a new software to play out music
I
for
moved you to engineering.
So you moved me to engineering. So in 2010, I came back to Mix. And then the career went on to take on 3 brands.
Network manager.
And then I became network manager, and then finally head of content before I left Astro, June 1st.
But I have to say that, my most learning I got at that point, Astro had some very, very good people, consultants from Australia there, kudos to like Rex Morris and Keith Fowler. And there's quite a lot of people that, Guy Dobson, who actually imparted the radio discipline to us. And most of us who came out of that period were like, the best in the field. So why did you leave?
So I left because with 26 years of knowledge under me, I think it was time for a new challenge.
Okay.
To develop something, to build something on my own. And so, which is why I took the Media Prima challenge.
So what are the differences in your job now? You started as from insurance salesman to announcer, and right now you have, I know, X number of people reporting to you. And if you could escalate it and sort of shorten the learning process, what would be the key takes?
I think the key takeouts here would be, look, you got to know what you want in your life, where you want to be, and plan that steps that you need to take to actually get to your end goal. I think that's the key learning for me. I think the biggest key learning for me was the power of what you want. That's so clear to me because I wanted to always be in radio. When I wanted to be in radio, this job didn't exist. This industry didn't exist. It had to be really crystallized in your mind, vivid, clear what you actually want. When you can see that, then you will get to your goals eventually.
Okay. Looking back at your 26 years, if you could speed up the journey, what would you have omitted?
If I know what I know today,
if you know then what you know today.
I've been more brave in the sense that I would have put my hand up for more challenges, for more work outside of what
your scope,
my scope was, because I could have proven that I was really, really very good at what I do. And
why didn't you?
Well, a couple of things. One is comfort. So you're at a level where you're okay. You don't have to,
rock the boat,
take on more, and because it's discomforting, right? When you take on something you don't know, and you don't know where to begin, and you don't know how to take those first steps, then you start, going, it's easier to just do what you're good at, which is stay there.
Yeah, so growth happens at the uncomfortable phase, and most people generally want to be comfortable. So, so my point is, when did you decide that you want to be uncomfortable?
I think it was maybe about 10 years ago. This is really it. I only know content and I know a bit of technical stuff. But there's the other part of the business that's missing.
The business acumen was not there. So finance, compliance, and legal stuff and all that. So how did that escalation happen? I know the story, but I want you to say it in the last couple of years. So you've put yourself in very uncomfortable situations. And I'm also one of the persons who push all these people. But apart from that,
I mean, so coming to Media Prima, I have had to learn a whole new different thing from finance to managing costs to ensuring that things run and we don't blow the budgets. But thanks to you, Jake, also.
Most welcome.
You know, you have really sort of given me a path or things I should be looking out for and focusing on.
What's next for you?
For me, the next level is I want to run.
So we should get Nazri to resign.
We should move Nazri higher up.
Yeah, but essentially that's it, you know. So so if I may, you know, I believe that most people aspire to be a CEO or COO, and they should, but you need to understand what drives a business.
Yes.
What are the key levers?
That's right.
What you know, you need to also, you know, like there's this great saying by Steve Jobs that if you want to make everybody happy, sell ice cream, don't be a leader. So leaders have to make unpleasant, unpopular decisions for the sake of the business and also shareholder value and stuff like that. So I guess this is critical. I guess this is the escalation. You need to understand that it's a business we're doing. It's never personal. Right? Yes, there's a human side to it, and we have to grow in this. So how long do you think you got in this business?
Probably another 5-10 years.
10 years, yeah. Okay, great.
So I think that's about it.
Forget about broadcast, but as your journey into getting into management and leadership and stuff like that, what are the 3 things young aspiring executives should look out for?
For me, you should be looking out for opportunity where you can grow into. Put your hand up. Don't be shy. Put your hand up and volunteer step out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Volunteer for stuff.
Okay.
Because that's going to get you noticed.
Okay.
All right. Because you see, when we go into meetings and everyone's talking and everyone's, you know, bringing up problems and no one wants to really take a step forward. But here's a guy who can say, okay, let me fix this for you. This is something people like to hear, right? So they go, then you know that you get clocked, you get noticed by others. The second thing is, don't be afraid, man. You're going to make mistakes and that's part of the journey, right? Because I've made so many mistakes in my life that
it's part of your process, yeah.
It's part of my process. There's no one that is successful that has not made mistakes.
Good point, yeah. Okay.
Everyone makes mistakes. So go ahead, make your mistakes, you know. You got to be happy what you're doing. If you're not happy and you are just, you know.
I don't know so much about that because I have a different opinion about that.
Yeah.
Being happy is very subjective. I can play my you know PS5 and be happy against stuff.
Yeah.
Be happy. Happiness is to me overrated. Happiness is where people can be fishing and be happy and stuff.
I guess the word is enjoy. You must enjoy what you're doing. If you're
sometimes you won't because in the beginning it's always tough. The starting journey is everybody's so uncomfortable in the beginning, and that's the point of make or break. You know, so I'm not sure about the happiness thing, and I always tell people growth happens in the uncomfortable phase rather than the comfortable phase, and most of us will fail because I'm not happy. But you know, Alex Hormozi famously said this is, you know what, I wish all 18 to 24 years will spend 6 days a week, 12 hours a day working because that's when you want to get the most experience and you're unhappy and you're uncomfortable. So I'm not sure, but I think what you mean is you sort of eventually grow to enjoy what you're doing, you know. Would that be right?
That would be right. But as you said, you know, it's the uncomfortable phase where you have to start things. And it's really about mind over matter. The Navy SEALs have a saying, you know, if you don't mind, it won't matter.
Yeah, I saw you put it up on LinkedIn today.
So, you know, that's a motto that I actually, you know, keep close to my heart because, look, you know, this is a process that we need to go through. It's just mind over matter. Take that first step forward and go on that journey. Yeah.
So, any parting words before we
just be real, be true to yourself, be honest with yourself, and don't be afraid.
So, fear is one thing that we should overcome. It's easier said than done. Yeah. So, I leave you with these 3 thoughts, and I spoke about this at this HRD Corp event that I spoke last week. Actually, life is really simple. There's just 3 things. It's where you are, think about where you want to go, And the center is what things you should eliminate or what things you should sort of embrace to get there. So most of us, we know where we want to go, but we don't know how to get there. And first of all, I ask people this a lot when I lecture or when I coach, and I ask people, where are you now? And they sort of don't know. And I ask you, where you want to go? Oh, I don't know. I said, if you don't know where you are, you don't know where you want to go, how are you going to get there? So the tools is really important. So think about these three things when you listen to this podcast. Where are you now? Write it down. Where do you want to go? And think about all the tools that is going to help you get there. If you can actually do that, I can guarantee you can get to any place you want to be. So with that, thank you for listening. I hope you like, subscribe, share. If you find this useful, please, guys, it's free. So, subscribe to Book of Jake. You can also pick up my book at www.bookofjake.my. Till I see you again, please have a fantastic week and comment and like. And also, hit me up for anything that you think that I should be addressing. I'll see you guys next week.